Hey everybody, it's Bob Phibbs, the retail doc. Today is, I didn't mean to hit that. It is Sunday, the 13th of 2022. And can you believe it? 2 years ago was my first live video after the lockdown. And at the time, I said it was a time of we, not a time of I. And there was opportunity all around in the face of this adversity. And I know it didn't feel that way, but I started the Hope for Retail project, and I did a video every single day. So, how many of you saw that? Type that in, let me know, and also let me know where you are in the world, because we are literally all over the world right now, and I would love to hear where you are. Good morning, Joanne. So, how many of you saw those videos that I did? I think I did one every day, and I would take a product that I'd purchased at a major brand, whether it was like Ted Baker or could have been Macy's, could have been all those. And every day I would say there's always a story around the product, and then there's the product. And did that for, I think, about 6 weeks before I finally realized there's only so much I could do with that. And but besides, we knew that this pandemic thing was going to be over in a couple of months, right? That was kind of crazy stuff. So it's a weird anniversary for a lot of us, because those last 2 years are kind of fuzzy, hard to remember quite all what was going on. So I appreciate you being here, and certainly have been on then as well. Julie, I saw Hope for Retail. Great, that's good to hear. All the way from Bradenville, Florida. I appreciate that. Farah from Piermont, New York, Minnesota. Good morning, Linda. Ahmad, hello. I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Donna from Massachusetts. Richard, all the way from England. He was spring cleaning a week ago. Dude, seriously, it can't be that much to do. I hope you have regular maintenance in your store. There you go. So we have a lot of questions here today, a variety of things people ask. But because this is a live broadcast, at least for right now, if you have a pressing question and you want to put it in the comments while I'm live, I will answer it. And if it is on replay that you're watching, then I'll try to do the same as well. All right, so good. We have a lot of you all here. My brother there from California, up early with the time change. I'm not used to this time change myself. It's like, wow, I have less time to get ready. So I may not be as prepared on some of these questions because there is a lot of you out there. So Charlie says, is there any good way to address parents or children that touch, play, and open everything in your gift store? I actually did a whole blog on this, Charlie, and I think I can copy and paste that into comments here. So let me do that while I answer you. The three rule is: one, you have to engage them. Don't assume that if you just don't look at them, they'll be fine. Second, ask the parent if you can give them a little gift, and then you can hand kids a piece of bubble wrap. And I go into this further in the blog, which is right down there. So I hope that you'll read that. But I think one of the big things that we run into is we go through and we expect people to act better or act the way that we were or whatever. And that's just not going to happen in this day and age. So instead of getting upset about it, be proactive. And I think that helps as well. Joanne, I have trouble for 16 years after with my gift store remembering people. There's times I remember everything and do the smiling and thank you and good to see you, but sometimes it's difficult to remember each moment. Mind you, I might not have seen them for years. I'll usually say, let me show you new items we've added. So, Joanne, if you really are concerned about names, and I am notoriously bad for names, I conducted a choir for 20 some years, and I'll never forget looking at this one alto, and I went to address her, and it was like, yeah, I know your name. I know you've been to my house many times. We've gone on vacation. I'm hoping that it's coming back, right? And finally, she just goes, "It's Cat, Bob." It's like, oh, right. So you know what? You could just be totally honest with it. That's one way. But if you really want to anchor it, you use their name 3 times while you're talking to them. And if you want to go the next level, which is more work, then you try to make an association. So, like, let's just take Cat. She spells it K-A-T, short for Catherine. So I might try to picture a cat while I'm saying cat, and that helps anchor the mind. There's a lot of tricks around that. I just say, yeah, that certainly would be great to do, but just understand that you see thousands of people every year, and the average person, when they walk in a retail, you're the one person they see. So take yourself off the hook. It's not the worst thing, but if you want to do that, anchor names. Oh my gosh, I've got Shane from Nebraska. Are you kidding me? Oh, Farah says I have a bucket of blocks and show them. I also have little giveaways. There you go. So you just got to be proactive. Don't be afraid of the little ones. Especially what I always find interesting is people say this happens in toy stores. You're like, well, what did you expect? Tony asks tips for managing a sudden slowdown. We're a custom frame shop. We've been in business for a long time with 5-star reviews. So we show up at the top search engines, had continuous growth. The trouble is, our walk ins have dropped in the last 3 weeks. We have a big project with one of our best customers, which is our bread and butter. We've had slowdown. It's the economy, the scary news in the world, or is it just us? Trying to stay optimistic and want to make the most of the slow time to catch up on good housekeeping, but the drop off feels like 9/11. Best proactive moves. How do we keep from turning into worry and desperation? Well, Tony, it's good that you ask. First off, just mentioning that I think always helps just to say, all right, um, I sometimes refer to it when I'm doing consulting like lancing the boil. It's like we just got to get rid of this thing and get all that crap out and then you can heal. So you've said it. The danger is that you just sit there and do nothing. And when you start using analogies like 9/11, that's pretty supercharged memories to put into your mind. And I've told stories, certainly 2 years ago, I told stories about my own journey of dealing with being afraid and worry and all of those things. I think the key is take action. So go through your customer list and reach out with a call and just say, hey, it's Tony down here at XYZ. And I just want to let you know I appreciate you being one of our best customers. We'd love to see you again. Could be that simple. Could be a form of thank you note, thanking your customers. But it could be going through your CRM. If you don't have a CRM, customer relationship management system, going through and taking all your handwritten orders, put those into a CRM, having a newsletter, and every week come out with something interesting, a blog about how to hold on to your grandkids' memories. And you're going to have 5 tips. And one of those, of course, is going to be bring your artwork into us and let us frame it. But the key to all of it is you've got to have action, which gives you hope. And so the other thing I would add, if you've heard me once, you've heard me 100 times say, you got to use your choice muscle. It's a choice. You can look around and say we're about to enter World War III and the pandemic is never going to end and I've got mildew on my roses and life sucks. You can choose that. Or you can say today's a great day and I'm going to make the most of it. If you had just survived a near death auto accident, would you have the same attitude of saying, oh my gosh, our walkout ratios are going down, our number of you? No, you'd be grateful for whatever you got. So it's a lot of work. And that's the job of an entrepreneur is it's a lot of work here, not here. So with that, except for me, it has to be here. There you go. If that made sense to you, give me some thoughts, give me some ideas. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you love what I'm saying. Give me some thumbs up if you're on Facebook. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, give me some applause. I am a speaker. We're needy, but more importantly, the algorithm is needy to know that there's value in what I'm saying. And if you follow me for a while, there's nobody that's more passionate about brick and mortar retail than me. There's nobody that's going to tell you that you can do it, but it's up to you. There's no one that's going to take you away from all of the distractions of it's about the metaverse and, digital bots and all this stuff. All that's fine. But at the end of the day, most people fall down really hard on the center, which is being brilliant on the basics, engaging a stranger when they walk into a physical retail store and then taking them for granted. And when it's too late, then saying, oh, it's Amazon's fault. So those are my 3 big ones that I will share with you there. All right. Janet, I tell parents that I don't know how to childproof a store because I don't have kids. That almost always puts them on notice that it's a job. There you go. If that works for you, excellent. You can read that. And there's several other people going on the kids. You can read that. But I'm moving on because I have so many more questions. Donna, is there a general percentage or data for how much sales a full-time employee should be generating for a retail store or sales per square foot or something like that to determine our goal needs to be on how to improve it? I really want to know the health of our numbers to see what we need to do as far as setting goals to get our team to buy into customer engagement. So, Donna, there is nothing like that because everybody's different and it would be hard to match yourself against other people unless you all, like I've thought about for a number of years, if I had a group of like 20 people and we all tracked our sales together, then you could kind of say, oh, this is what's going on. But you start off with where you are is the most important. which is how much does each person sell per hour, per day, per month, per week? And then know what that is. And then you can go through and set a goal. Like if your goal was you think you can be 10% more, then you can go through and back into that. And I tell that in this blog I just gave you right there, which I go into detail about how you come up with a commission structure, but it's still the same idea. How do you set a goal and make it relevant? So I hope that helps, because again, if I told you the average of a generating store is $250 a square foot, you might get scared and say, oh my God, we're only 75 because you have a $20,000 square foot. Or the other way around, oh, we're at 800, but you have a 200 square foot store and you're trying to compare with Walmart and you're really more like Apple. So there's a lot of things to do. I hope that helps. But most importantly, when you talk about to get your team to buy into customer engagement to boost numbers, that's a much bigger discussion, because they're not going to engage customers because you get to make more money. So it's a much different discussion. I don't have time for that this morning. Emily, I recently started our holiday order kind of late with a company we've carried for a long time. They got high quality, expensive collector's items. In the past 2 or 3 years, we've seen an increase in sales on products and expanded our selection accordingly. They aren't a big money maker, but in the middle of this year, we have increased cost and MSRP by 50%. How should I adjust my budget? Should I order the same quantity or the higher price to deter sales? So, Emily, it's really quite simple. It's the same thing I'm going to tell all of you. I don't care what the price is. Can you sell it? That didn't feel very good, Bob. I know. Merch doesn't sell itself. I don't care if you buy a chair and it's normally $400 and suddenly it's $600. Can you sell a $600 chair? No. Be honest with yourself. Then get out of it, because the reality is inflation is going up. I was at a furniture convention last month, and the manufacturer said that they had a 30% increase in hardwood cost between January and February. It's crazy. So what? It is what it is, right? So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, can I sell this? And those of you who are crowing about, oh, we're up 10%, we're up 12%, that's inflation right now. If you're under that, then chances are really good that you're in trouble. And yeah, there's no two ways about it. We might have the Russian aggression is probably going to affect global markets and a lot of other things down the way. So the buying frenzy is slowing. And, some of you, I've heard people say, oh, I stopped watching you because all you talk about is sales RX. It made me laugh. I said, well, then why does that bother you? Well, I don't need it. Great. So what are you doing with the sales process? How are you selling your merch? And those of you who are watching this right now, and there's an awful lot of you out there, why haven't you bought sales RX? You're here to hear all my free stuff, but when it takes a moment to take action, are you willing to step up and change? Or are you going to go back and say, oh, I don't need it? I had somebody tell me this week, oh, I haven't bought sales RX because I think you're too salesy. Have you actually taken the course? Well, no, but that's what I think. Good. Well, then how would you ever know that? Because most of us stay stuck because we front load it with fear. We front load it with saying, oh, but what if and you don't go the other side. And what if it was great? What if in 6 months you'd say, well, gosh, that doubled my sales, like Hammett Handbag doubled their sales in 2 years. Did you double your sales in 2 years during a pandemic? Did you increase your conversion rate by 15, 16%, like one of our reviews said the other day? If not, then you got to look inside and say, maybe I'm happy being unhappy. And that doesn't feel good to hear. But a lot of people just want to go around and talk about how awful it is. And you know what? The smart entrepreneurs are always finding that way to say, what can I do better? How can I get that edge over somebody else? And so I encourage all of you to realize that I don't care what's going on in the economy or the world. It's up to you to sell it. Nothing is more frustrating to me than to see those sad little stories that always come out they'll come out again around right after the tax time. Oh, family business closes, and you look around and the thing is jammed full of merchandise. And it's like, oh, Amazon, we couldn't. No, you never decided that you had to sell the merchandise, right? You're a hardware store, and so you're selling nails, and you're happy you're selling a box of nails for $1.20. instead of thinking about the whole project. If I've gotten buy nails, what am I doing? I'm making something. Wouldn't you just engage them so that you could go through and say, oh, the goal is for me to sell more merchandise, not to be a warehouse? And same thing with you, sewing stores. That first week after the pandemic, it was like, oh my God, no one's going to be here. And then suddenly the gift of masks. There's no more gifts of masks that's going to be out there. And every manufacturer is concerned about the idea. Did we just pull 4 months or 2 years worth of our sales backward to the last 2 years? And is this momentum going to keep up? Right now, we're hearing American consumers still have $4 trillion to spend, and they're excited to do it. But make no mistake, as gas prices go up and everything, everybody keeps hearing fear, 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 fear. Retail doesn't do good with fear. So there's a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to sell it. I know it feels great to go to a buying show. Oh, I found the cutest thing. It's so wonderful. Great. Can you sell it? Or are you buying it and then your employees get it at half off and they buy half of it and you're really selling half that merch for trying to make up just your costs on it? There's a lot to running a business, but the most basic is being brilliant on the basics, which is selling the merch, to find a way to put the best of you out there and be curious about another human being. And that's a process. That's a process I've taught for 35 years. So I work with some of the biggest brands in the world, all the way down to the smallest mom and pops. So there you go. Jason, what are you saying to me? Needed to hear this. Sell better, not always easy, but you can learn. Prices are up, ain't going back. People have to adjust, and we do too. It just takes a little time. Exactly. That's exactly it. All right. So I haven't seen anybody saying why they haven't joined SalesRx yet. So I'm going to assume you're going to go to salesrx.com and sign up, or you're going to talk to me about how you couldn't watch me anymore because I wanted to make you better. Okay, what does that mean? I just want to feel bad and go into my little chat room with all my buddies and talk about it's all Amazon and poor us. Great. You know what? That's not going to pay the bills. If that's anything, it's going to take all of your drive and just kill it. And then you're going to sit around saying, what's next? That's not a fun place to be. Been there, done that too many times. Terry, what does your crystal ball say about possible decreased dollars in sales due to gas prices in the Ukraine situation, i.e., customers being worried about money? So, Terry, the reality of economics is the lower your price point, the more subject you are to being affected. So, is luxury going to be affected by this? Maybe, probably not nearly as much. But if you are at lower price points that people don't necessarily have to have, I think you're in trouble. If it's all lower priced, easier to leave on the desk. It's not a considered purchase, in other words. I think that's it. So the idea of being more special, I think who your customer is, if you tend to have more people who are going to be riding public transportation, or they're going to be commuting to their jobs, or then I think you're going to see it. I think certainly when you look at toy stores, that certainly could be a thing, because you have different types of parenting, and you could have single moms who are really structured. They can't just pay an extra dollar at the pump per gallon. So there is thing, but you've got to just know your own situation. I would again go back to your job is not to bring worry into it and talk about that. Your job is to do the best you can with the products you have, and it's up to you to really kind of forget it. It's that choice muscle we're talking about. Linda, how do you feel about direct mail advertising? I love it. We moved into a neighborhood with a lot of potential new customers and want to let them know we're here and what our store has to offer. So it is a big opportunity, but you've got to be smart about it. There's an awful lot of, I still believe in the companies that will send out a card. You got to write the card right, but to new homeowners in your area, get them to come into your store, because ultimately it's not about we have. It's all about you. Right? It's all about you. We just moved to the neighborhood because we saw a need that you would need X, Y, and Z. Your garden center, your whatever it's going to be, keep the emphasis on you, and you came here to serve them, versus, hey, we're here and we need, and we. So I hope that helps, because it's like I said 2 years ago, it's a we moment, not an I. I hope that it hits. And the other thing to realize with direct mail is it's expensive. It's probably 75 cents per piece by the time you figure everything in, but it's a long-term measure. In other words, you're going to send something out once a month or every 2 weeks, and just understand it's going to take a little bit, and it's not a coupon code and, oh, we knew someone used it. If you're building awareness, it's a way of understanding. But there's also digital ways that you could do that in tandem. So don't just limit yourself to direct mail, because we all have that moment where we are over the garbage can and we're deciding no, no, no. So whatever it is, a postcard, it's not something you have to open. Something I can get whatever your message is, and don't say you're at 805 621 Main Street. Say we're at the corner of Main and Fifth by the Kroger. Oh, I know where they are. So it jogs their memory. Is this good for you? Are you understanding stuff? Give me some thumbs up. Give me some yes in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm going to realize that you're not listening and you're not intrigued. So let me know that you're out there, so that I have a few more questions to answer, and then I will call it a day. All right. So Laura says, I have a niece that wants to help open a second location. Do you think we should wait until high prices level out? Laura, I have no idea if high prices will ever go down or level out or whatever you call it. I remember I spoke at a spa manufacturers event in Palm Springs probably 20 years ago. And they had people who were talking about, the consumer was moving on and spas were this and that. And then I come up and do You Can Compete. And it was really, a great change from all of that thinking. And someone asked me a question and I said, well, it's up to you. Are you going to be successful or not? And the owner came up on stage and he goes, you people forget I founded this business when credit cards were charging 24% interest and people put a spa on their credit cards. It's like, yeah, that's really important. So understanding that there's always opportunity. I would take a pause when you say you have a niece that wants to help open a second location. That's not the issue. Is there enough market for you to open that second location? I think a lot of times we get bored with our business. Oh, I'll open another one. And instead of being strategic, we go through and say, oh, well, this would feel good, but you haven't really thought about it. Right. So, your one store is here and then you decide to open something an hour or hour and a half away, which is really terrible, because if something goes wrong, you can't really get there. So 20 minutes is about the max I recommend. And then, is your niece capable of doing this? Has she been in a retail store? Have you worked with her? Or does it just sound like something to give your niece a job? Because it's a lot of money to give to a relative. And if you can't fire her because she's your niece, then she may not be the best person to go with. All right. So I only have two more, and then if there's anything here. So be thinking if you have a question, let me know. Give me some thumbs up. Let me know you're out there. Let me know if you give me some hearts, whatever it's going to be. All right. Angel, our pets business is open 7 days a week. We've been considering closing for a couple of days to refresh our floor layout. It's been the same for 15 years. What's the best way to determine the best customer flow in a business? Angel, the easiest way is when I walk in the store, there should not be a counter on the right. In North America, we come into a store and we go to our right. We don't want to have anything there, because if you don't figure that out, as people are checking out, they're cutting in as people are going into your store. Terrible traffic. Make sure that, in fact, you should check out the post I did, like new retail in New York or Soho. It was just a few weeks ago. And I talked about the job Reddy did, because you're a pets business, and Reddy, Reddy in Soho, has done an amazing job. And look at how the fresh food is all the way in the back, and look how the different lands are set up. But make sure that it's set up that makes sense, so that you go from here to there to here to there, and then you come around with the dog beds or whatever are going to be the last thing, because you've thought this process out, instead of just saying, oh, we need all this food here and we need this, and well, that's just more convenient. Think about the customer. How do you build the basket? Make it logical so that it's not random. And then, as wonderful as toys are, I think a lot of times those big giant toy walls that I've run into when I had a dog before Hallie Mae passed away a couple of years ago, chunk it down. They don't all have to be, all of this stuff. Try to chunk it down and see if you can mix that in so that you got a chance for upselling. Hope that helps. And our last one is from Susan. We're in our second year of taking appointments for a tire. We have 6 rooms. We keep one for walk-ins. Sadly, even with a reminder call the day before, people don't show up or they cancel right before. Is it just the nature of appointments? It leaves us with empty rooms that could have been used. So, Susan, the easy answer is make them give a deposit. And if they show up, you'll either give it back to them or they can use it on a future purchase, but get some commitment on that. Restaurants have been running into this as well. They're doing the same thing, and making sure that you're always going through and trying to figure out, look, I'm not going to make this hard for you, but you've got to be able to make sure people are respecting your time. And I hope that helps. Farah asked the question here. We're approaching our 15-year anniversary. Any store anniversary event ideas? Just think about something around 15, something around charity, something around something for 15-year-olds, something about show us something from 15 years ago. But try to keep the focus on giving back. That's what your goal is with anniversaries, is what you can give, or give something to your customers or something like that. I hope that helps. All right. Well, if you got something out of spending time with me today, make sure you type in and tell me that you got something in. And more importantly, just remember, we're not where we were 2 years ago. And even if, God forbid, we were where we were 2 years ago, my same advice would be to you today, that it's using our choice muscle. Either you decide to be engaged and change your life, either you decide to take steps forward with action, or you don't and you stay stuck and you blame other people and you get angry about it. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't help anybody. And the only way, if you're going to be in business, is to get more people who like you to rave about you. And if they're not raving about you, you got to say, well, why is that? And then build the structures back. And I hope you'll check out salesrx.com, because we are training thousands of people around the world how to open their heart, discover the shopper, and make more sales. And the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Did they buy from you or not? And if not, it's probably on us, not them. With that, I'm going to leave you. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a busy week.